Okay, you guys, before we got started with RV life, I thought it was going to be non-stop traveling and adventure. And it is. It has its moments. But there are 5 things I wish I would have known before I started doing this. Let's talk about it. Now, I want to start off by saying I do not regret for 1 second my RV life. I do not. I think the only drawback I have, I wish I would have got the size that I wanted first. But I digress. The first thing we're going to be talking about that nobody tells you about are the breakdowns. Oh my goodness. When you own an RV, it is very, very smart to be somewhat handy because things are going to break continuously. It's not if it does, it's when it does. We have been dealing with leaks since we got this thing. First it was the sink, then it was the sink in the bathroom, then it was the pipes underneath our bed, and then it was the spout that you clean out the black tank and you hook it up to the house. That started leaking into where our electrical components are when we plug up the house. And my husband always checking everything. He went and checked those things and he's like, honey, we got another leak. It has been nonstop water leaks. And you know, water leaks can be the death of your RV because if it gets in the walls or it gets in the floors, those are major repairs. And the little things that break, right? The little things you buy, the external things like your hose that after a while sitting in the sun becomes worn and it breaks. Or your awning if you leave and go on an excursion, or if you're just outside and a nasty wind comes and flips it up and rip it, and now you're looking at a costly repair. So one of the things that I wish I would have known about is that there is lots of repairs that will have to happen, and it is always nice to educate yourself on your rig, and a basic understanding of how things work in there will go a long way. Or you're going to be constantly calling the RV repair people, or you're taking your RV to places like Camping World and Lazy Days, which can leave you homeless for months because lots of people take that route. So that's the first thing I wish I would have known. Next thing I'm going to talk about, number 2, is the cost of RVing. Staying at campgrounds add up. Now, when you have these different memberships, you think that that's going to really kind of cut down the cost, and it can to a certain extent. But sometimes memberships are not everywhere. Like with Thousand Trails, they're mostly the southeast and southwest. So if you wanted to go up north, or very few are available, so it doesn't help you very much. Staying at the state parks can be cheaper than staying at like KOAs and mom and pop campgrounds. But I can tell you, we stayed at a campground that ended up costing us $90 some a night. $90 a night, okay? And we were passing through, and that was the only thing available, and I think it was like $92 and change. So the pricing for campsites can add up, especially if you are traveling or if you're going to somewhere popular and you want to stay. Fuel costs, eating on the way getting there, all those things add up, and then your stay can be hundreds of dollars. Now, the importance of knowing where you want to go and planning ahead of time is going to work in your favor. And joining some Facebook groups that kind of give you some ideas of places you could stay that are maybe unconventional is some good ideas too. But nobody tells you that it is expensive to park this thing places. I can tell you, boondocking, I love it because it's absolutely free, but it's not free to the point to where you need to make sure you have gas, you got to have a generator. So there's things that go along with that. You need your little poop tank so you can be able to dump when you need to without hitching up the whole house to drive it somewhere to pay and dump. So the cost of RV living definitely adds up. And so you need to keep that in mind as you're doing this. Now, can you do it? Absolutely. Absolutely. But just keep in mind that the more you move around, the more you're going to spend. That's a lot of times people get the RV and then they park it at their local campground and they don't move it anymore. That's not why we got into this, you and me, right? We got into it for the adventure, for the new scenery, for the pack up, for the hitting the road, for the desert roads, for the beautiful night sky, for the waterfalls, the mountains, the whole nine. That's why we got into it. But I want you to be realistic about the cost. Usually whenever we travel, I always stick close to state parks and conservation parks because they're going to be cheaper. We do have the 1,000 Trail membership, and that does help a lot when you're moving in the areas where those are most plentiful. Now with KOAs are good. The membership is good, but it only takes off 10%, right? So you want to be cautious of that, and they can get pretty pricey too, depending on where you want to go, and they can get full really fast if it's a holiday weekend or it's the height of the summer and everybody is wanting to be out. So put a pin in it. Cost adds up. All right, you guys, the third thing that they don't tell you about. Yes, people warn you about the downsides of moving into the camper. I think you mentally know that when you're picking something out. You realize if you're going from 2,000 square feet to 400 square feet or 200 square feet, you're going to have to downsize. But I think they don't remind you of what you're missing in the downsize. Like one of the things that became very hard for me is not having access to a washer machine and dryer. Every time I want to wash clothes, I have to go to the laundromat or overpay at the campground I'm at because they do tax you when you do use the laundry facilities here, and it goes up all the time. It's higher and higher every time you use it. So I take everything, I have to bundle it all up, take it down the stairs, put it in the car, drive to the laundromat, take it out, wash it, dry it, bring it back to the car, bring it back in the house. And you kind of miss those things when you downsize, right? And also, the downsizing don't just stop when you move out of your house. It continues on while you live in this thing, because you always have to be mindful that you're moving on a weight system, right? You don't want to overweight your camper because then it overweights your car, and plus too much stuff makes it cluttered, and for me it's hard to enjoy it when it's just so much stuff in there, right? So I'm forever having to, in my mind, downsize. Like if I want a new comforter set, I need to give this one away. When it's wintertime and you got blankets and now it's summer and you don't need them, you got to have a place to either put them in the camper or leave them at a relative's house that you know you're going to swing back by and get them again. You're always downsizing. So downsizing does not just stop because you moved in it. You're continuing to downsize, and you have to deal with the results of downsizing, which is the laundromat, which can be very exhausting. It takes a whole day, right? You got to come home, fold everything up, and then put it away. Now, the satisfaction is clean clothes and a clean house, but it is a chore when you're so used to just walking down the stairs or down the hall and the laundry facility is right there. So it's just some things to think about that you don't think about when you move into an RV, because you're romanticizing the idea, but you're not thinking about the everyday cost that you're going to run into, and that every time you buy something, you have to keep the mindset of when you buy something, you give something. You give something away if you get something new, just so you can keep things clean and light and not weigh down your camper with a whole lot of things. And that's how a lot of people get stuck in these communities, because they buy so much stuff and then you can't take it with you. So if your goal is to kind of move around like us, like now we're moving every 14 days. So moving around, I have to be extra cautious of what it is that I'm buying and making sure that I'm giving away something to keep us light. So you're always downsizing. Number 4. Now, when you're first leaving in the RV, it is exhilarating. It is exciting because you're heading out on the adventure you've been waiting for. You've watched all the videos. You've talked to all the people that you wanted to talk to about it. You've met new people. You're ready to join the RV community. You're ready to go. You're packing. Everything's great. You're learning. You're getting it all done. They don't tell you that it's exhausting to keep packing and to unpack. We traveled for just an hour from one site to another site. It was an hour drive. And even though I cleaned up and put everything away before we went, when we land here, I have to go back in and clean up again because stuff spills, stuff slides, you secure stuff, and he brings the rugs in from outside and put them in the house. Then I have sand and I need to sweep and mop. So moving day can be exhausting, even though you're not going far, because you have to take all your stuff down and you have to pack it all up, and then you have to pack it in a way that you can get it all packed in. And then you have to go in the house and make sure that you have your checklist. And if you need some help with checklists, just pop on over to my Patreon page. I did some checklists for packing up, and it'll kind of help you remember those things, right? And so do your checklist where you're making sure, is the fridge off? Is the TV off? The button behind the TV. Because if you don't press that button, it still pulls on the battery. I didn't know that until our battery died. And somebody's like, did you turn the TV button off for the antenna? And I'm like, no, I didn't even know I needed to do that. He's like, yeah, that's still running and it'll kill your battery. So you're checking the list and making sure that the AC's off or the heater's off, and that you're bleeding the sinks in the kitchen and in the bathroom so there's no water in the line, and flushing the toilet. So all those things have to happen each time you move. So the pack up, the unpacking can be exhausting. It can be exhausting. And so allow yourself some time. That's why if you follow the rule, and you can check out my video and I'll put it at the end, where it's the RV etiquette, where you're doing the 4-4-4 rule or the 3-3-3 rule. It really does help you travel efficiently, but at the same time, you just have to be realistic that you're packing up the house every single time you move, and that could be a pain in the tush. All right, last but not least, number 5, travel fatigue. Travel fatigue is a real thing, and it takes such a toll on relationships between husband and wife, children and parents. It is a real deal that you get travel fatigue. When you don't travel in moderation, meaning that certain amount of hours per day so you can get some rest and kind of get a break from each other, you get travel fatigue, and it can weigh heavy on your relationships. If you're trying to make good time and your only goal is to just hurry up and get there, then by the time you get there, you're kind of upset with the people you're with. You know, it just doesn't go as well, especially when you have to meet deadlines of getting here and getting there and getting this. Travel fatigue is a real thing. And RV life in general, because it's close space, close quarters, it can test relationships. If you're a mom like I was and you clean up the kitchen, and when the light goes out, the kitchen is closed, and you have teenagers or kids, they're camping, they want popsicles, they want a sandwich, your husband's making coffee, they're spilling, that could test you. The little things that can be like, oh my goodness. Right? Dad, if you just want to sit outside and watch the game and the kids are running back and forth and fussing and fighting and people are walking through your sight, it can be very stressful. So travel fatigue is a very real thing, and it does test relationships within the family and the neighbors. So my advice to you is learn the rules of travel and work those into your plans so you can enjoy your trip to the fullest. And so you are not just trying to make good time and get there as soon as possible, but you're enjoying the journey of getting there so you don't get travel fatigue, right? And travel fatigue is easy. It's easy to get. Somebody's voice could irritate you in travel fatigue, right? The directions, missing a turn, can upset you to the fullest, and it sparks all kind of arguments and different stuff. So I'm telling you these things because these are things I wish I would have counted the cost when I got into RV life, but it's not a deterrent, right? This is not a talk about don't get into it because you'll hate it. It's these things that know what you're getting into in advance and expect it, and put some things in place to kind of help you deal with them as they come up. So just remember, guys, you got in this for the freedom of the lifestyle. It has its perks. Trust me. None of us would keep doing this if it didn't. But it does have its challenges. And I like to be upfront and honest with you because everything has a other side. And so what's your other side? If you are a seasonal RVer and you're watching this video, share some words of wisdom in the comment section so people can read it and say, oh my goodness, I didn't even think of that, right? So tell us, what are some things that you did not know that you wish you knew before you got into it? And if you are new and you want some guidance, leave some comments below and I will get back with you and maybe we could talk about it. You know, I'm not a gatekeeper. I'm all about helping the next person come along. Man, I can tell you that I do not regret it. Not one moment. It does have its challenges, sure. Everything does. But I do not regret it. I love it. I love it. I love it. And as I learn new things, I learn to adjust to them. And 5 years later, I'm still a full-time RVer. And if this is your dream, plan ahead, find ways to keep it, enjoy it, and love it. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. And if you are new to the channel, welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm glad that you came and I love to have you. So you guys, we're at a new location and we're going to be doing some fun stuff. So make sure that you stay with us because you never know where I may end up. Bye for now.